Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Unplanned Adventure. If you're watching live or catching the replay, I'm glad you're here. I want to start tonight with a quick heads up. Before we jump into snow totals and trail conditions, Trail 7 Sled View update. The Trail 7 Sled View trail cam is currently down. So if you're trying to check out that camera tonight and it's not loading, that's why. As soon as it's back up, I'll make sure that I pass that information along. All right, so now the big picture. Snow is falling pretty much everywhere. We're getting varied reports across northern Michigan, but the common theme is it's stacking up. It's getting crazy out there. I've seen all kinds of really awesome pictures. Snow, it looks like 3 feet. Doors can't even open. It's crazy. In the Indian River area, I'm seeing reports anywhere from 6 inches up to a foot or more, depending on the location. I've seen pictures from different areas. As far as I saw pictures of Toppinabee, so I can show you some of those. Well, here's Indian River right here, one of the local hotels, and it is about 6 inches on the ground. Not a whole lot, but that was earlier today, and I've seen my dad out there. He's been running the snowblower about 2 or 3 times a day, and he was reporting over a foot. Saw the let's see, I had another picture from Toppinabee. Snow looks good out there. Also saw a good picture, and hopefully I've got that in my stack here for later, but I saw a good picture of Thirsty Sturgeon, and it had plenty of snow there as well. The wind is blowing, so it's drifting up really good, and it's just it's shaping up to be a really good weekend for riding. So over the Petoskey area, I didn't see any pictures yet. Nobody's posted anything from over there. A lot of it is because this stuff is happening so fast. People are just not getting out there yet. They're kind of, you know, waiting to see what happens and waiting for it to calm down. So I didn't see any pictures from the Snowmobile ORV Club, but I want to take a moment to remind everyone, please go out and support their Sunday breakfast. It's a buffet style. It's $15 and it goes to a great cause. Go out there, check it out. This weekend will be great. You can ride over there, and you should be able to get a good breakfast, and hopefully the trails aren't too bumpy. So even if you're passing through, stop in and help them so they can keep the trails open and the clubs running. Jordan Valley also, no pictures. Didn't see any pictures of Jordan Valley. Didn't see any pictures of Jordan Valley, but I did put their Facebook page up here so you can go out there, and I'd recommend following it. You can hit like on their page, and they'll give you live updates, or you can catch the show every Friday and Sunday. Friday night will be the people heading up there be able to watch the show and find out what the trail conditions are, and on Saturday or on the Sunday or Monday, depending on how the weekend goes, if it's a 3-day weekend, whatever, and I'll do a wrap up and talk about how conditions were and what happened, if there was anything crazy that happened, any trail closures, anything like that I pick up on. So from everything I'm hearing though, Jordan Valley's getting plenty of snow. We can go out here, Atrim County. Good news, Atrim County, their trail cam is up and currently snowing. As you can see, it is blizzard-like conditions out there. It's pretty awesome. So you can check out the cam yourself. The link is in the description below. That's a great tool to help you decide where you want to ride and how conditions are shaping up over the next few days. With the weekend coming, I know a lot of people will be heading north, some as early as tomorrow afternoon or Wednesday. And right now it looks like snow everywhere you look. Trout Lake. Let's see if I can get that up here real quick. So this picture came in from Trout Lake, and he had a couple pictures out there. This one's a pretty good indication of what the conditions are like. Another picture he had, and I was looking for it. The whole front of his snowmobile was just covered because of how much powder and how his the front of his snow was just pushing this. The front of his sled was just pushing the snow. But it looks awesome. Whiteout conditions up there, everywhere. Everything is getting kind of sketchy up there as far as travel conditions. So just be careful. One thing else I would like to say, be careful because reports are coming in. The gas stations were closed. Last I saw, Pine Stump was actually closed, and Strong's Tavern was closed at this time. So if you're heading up that way right now, plan ahead. Fuel, food, and services may be limited. So just keep that in mind. Just I don't want anybody to head all the way up there and then get stuck. But I think it'll be temporary. I mean, they're plenty. They're adaptive to all of this, so this is nothing for them. They'll be up and running in a couple of days. But I saw several pictures of people shoveling. It looked close to 2 to 3 feet off of their porches, trying to just get out to their car. But as always, just be careful. This picture came in from Sault Ste. Marie. They posted a couple hours ago. Showed the groomers are out and they've got some whiteout conditions. So from the looks of it, it's deep powder. It's great. If you head out there, understand you may be in more on your own than usual. Plenty of fun to be had, but make sure that you're fueled up and prepared before you head out. So statewide reports, I'll leave that on there for now. But statewide reports, we're seeing that they're getting snow all over us. I only checked as far as Gaylord, but I think it's a little further south than that. And I've checked all the way across the UP is getting covered right now. So it's just shaping up to be a great New Year's Day. You're going to be able to get up there. Some people are probably going to head up there, like I said, and probably get a 4 to 5 day weekend out of this. And it's going to be great riding. At this point, if you're struggling to find snow, you might be looking in the wrong place. So just a real quick reminder, permits and registration. Hey, before you hit the trails, trail permits are $52. Make sure your sled is stickered and your registration is current. You don't want to get out there and ruin your weekend with a ticket. Also, don't forget the Groomer app. It's available both on iOS and Android. You can follow the clubs that we talked about tonight and many more. The interactive map lets you view the entire state, so you'll be able to pick which clubs that are out there, and you'll be able to pick and choose which ones you want to give your money to and help them out, and be able to follow. And again, some of you guys will be traveling 5, 6, some of them longer than that. Now you can look at it and see who's been grooming, what they've been doing, and give you a good idea of what you're about to run into. Sometimes they don't really post the groomers down, but this will give you a good indication and also help you out. If you get all the way up there, you don't have to go find out that a trail several miles out there is not very good. You can head the opposite direction where it's good. So just when you're using that app, green means that it's been groomed in the last 12 hours, yellow means 12 to 24 hours, and red means it's over 24 hours. So travel with care. Honestly, once you're north of Gaylord, you'll be hard pressed not to find a club using this app. Check the conditions before you leave, not after you arrive. Don't forget social media. Don't forget you can find me on Facebook group. You can find me on the Unplanned Adventure Facebook page. You can like and subscribe there. You can find me on the Indian River Snowmobile and ATV and Water Sports Facebook group. You can go on there. You can see some of the videos that I post. I post shorts of these videos on there, so you'll be able to see all of that. And also, you can check out Inland Lake Snowmobile Club. I'm also on there. I know it's cutting a little bit off, but Inland Lakes. And any of you that are from the Indian River area, that's the Inland Lake School is right there. So that's kind of where that comes from. But Inland Lake Snowmobile Club. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow. You'll get updates. You'll see updates of trail conditions, everything in real time. So if you decide not to get the app, you can at least do it that way. Also, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, and Rumble as well. TikTok, Instagram. TikTok is the Unplanned Adventure. Rumble is the Unplanned Adventure, and Instagram is the Unplanned Adventure 98. So please like, subscribe, follow me on all those different social media groups, and I'll be putting out plenty of content. I got some new cameras to try out, so I'll be heading up there next week, and I'll be getting as much footage as I can, riding everywhere, talking about the trail conditions, talking about the different trails, and anything else I can run into. So don't forget, snow is falling, trails are filling in. The winter is doing what winter does best. Before we wrap up things tonight, I want to take just a minute to talk about the weekend warriors. And don't be offended when I say that, because I'm kind of one of those too. I put all my weekends together at one time and come up there. The folks that get off of work late, load up fast, point north, and try to squeeze every possible mile into that short window. I get it. We've all been there. But when snow is falling like this and trails are filling in fast, that's when people tend to rush, and rushing is when mistakes happen. First thing, slow down. It's the first ride of the trip. New to the snow, new snow can hide stumps, rocks, ice patches, soft corners that aren't there or that weren't there and the last time you rode. So just, take your time, get it checked out. Second, don't assume services are open. As we talked about tonight, there are already reports of gas stations and restaurants being closed in some areas. Top off whenever you can, even if you think you don't need to. I remember riding in the early '90s, late '80s, and I remember we would never pass a gas station, and we would top off at every gas station. Um, so now you have a little bit more luxury of being able to do that. But I do know the gas stations close. Some of them close at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, or even midnight. So if you're out there past that, you definitely don't want to be out there risking that, risking running out of gas. Third, ride like help is further away than you think. Whiteout conditions, drifting snow, and deep powder can turn a simple problem into a long wait. Ride with a plan. Let someone know your route and don't outrun your fuel or your visibility. Fourth thing I'd like to cover is watch the group dynamic. The faster riders set the tone, but not everyone in the group rides it the same way. Keep visual contact, stop at intersections, and don't leave someone guessing which way you went. So a lot of times when we ride, and I'm guilty of this, I'll get out there in front, and sometimes I'm just having a good time. I'm kind of hitting the corners, and just, especially if the trail conditions are really nice, and I start taking away and start leaving people. And then what makes it worse, and I tell people all the time, I say, when you're following me, I'm looking for your headlight, and you need to be looking for the next guy's headlight, and so on and so forth. If I see your headlight, I assume everybody's still coming. I will stop every once in a while. I don't just ride, 15, 20 miles without looking, but I'll ride to an intersection. I'll turn back and look back and, see who's coming and see what's going on. But if we get into an area, especially, Indian River trails, the Chandler Hill, Petoskey trails, all that stuff, I've ridden so many times that I'll start going. And again, I look back, I see the light behind me. If I see your headlight, I'm like, okay, it's good. We're good. If I see two headlights, I know we're really good. So I always tell people, if you get to a stop sign and for some reason I just, like I said, I get into a good ride and I go through it. If I get to that stop sign and I don't look back for some reason, I decide to go, you look back and you don't see any lights, stop, hang out there for a few minutes, and then I'm obviously gonna look back in a short amount of time, and then I'm either gonna stop there and then I'm gonna come back. One thing I do recommend is, when you do get into a predicament where somebody decides to stop or the group slows down, those lead riders don't just immediately turn around and start going back or bring everybody back. Try to, just hang out there for a few minutes, let the group catch up to you. If something is happening like that, I also recommend that everybody kind of, turn around and go back if it's possible. Go up to the next road, turn around, go back, and find those riders that aren't there. Because heaven forbid, the lead rider or somebody goes back, there is an actual incident, and then for whatever reason, because reception's bad, you can't get a hold of somebody. You don't want your group strung out all over the place. Try and stay together the best you can. And finally, when know when to call it. Getting one less run in is always better than pushing it and ending the trip early for the wrong reason. I see a lot of that. A lot of incidents seem to happen. The right at the end of the weekend, somebody's trying to get that last ride in. Usually, the story comes out. It's somebody that has never really ridden a snowmobile before, and this goes along with ATVs and everything else. They get that they want to get that last ride in, and then they go out there and do something because they're getting more and more confident with it, and they go out there and do something that maybe it's just not for, they don't have enough talent for that. And I'm not saying everybody out here doing this stuff is so talented. Like we're on the X Games, because even the X Games can have, one of those guys can have a bad day. It doesn't matter. I'm just saying that they're new to riding. Um, they may not be thinking of certain things, and I know in the past people have run out on lakes and hit a pressure ridge, and that's like that's hitting a brick wall, and you don't see them because you're out there just flying across that ice, and you won't see that pressure ridge until you're right on it. So if you're going in the direction of the pressure ridge, it's a ramp. If you're going the opposite direction of the pressure ridge, it's a wall. So you just keep in mind that kind of stuff. Not to mention, one, I wouldn't be on a whole lot of. It's getting a little colder, but I still wouldn't be on a lot of lakes right now. It's been a little too warm for that. Uh, and just like anything else, I talk about the ice and pressure ridges, but running across open fields, it may look like an open field, and you find out there's a whole bunch of stumps out there. So just be careful, especially with this deep snow. You won't even see it. If you've never been in that area before, I'd stay on the trail. I would not get off the trail. I would not assume that that's an open field, and I would not assume there's nothing in there. Some of these farmers will leave stuff in their fields, and it can get covered up from snow, and it just be a bad day. Somebody gets hurt that way. Ride smart, ride prepared, and make sure everyone gets home with stories, not problems. Until then, stay safe, enjoy the snow, and keep it an unplanned adventure.